It's November, it's almost house guest season, and we want to be that house that everybody wants to come to for major holidays. We do. We love these people. They love us back. But we don't want to be locked in the kitchen away from all the fun while everybody else is having a great time. We want to be able to join them too. So we want to be able to make sure that we're as prepared as we can be. And I'm not just talking about for Thanksgiving's dinner. We've got that. If we're the ones hosting, it's likely we've done it many, many times. We've got that. But we want to be able to have all the meals, all the goods. We want to make it so that when people come down bleary-eyed from an amazing night, they're being faced with yet another incredible meal. And we're lardering for house guests. Today, we're going to be making our sweet rolls. This recipe I have formulated so that not only does it yield the most puffy, pillowy, delicious, the dough is delicious, the filling's delicious, it's fantastic. It yields the most beautiful texture, but it freezes so well that when you take it back out of the freezer, you let it rise for its final time and it goes into that oven, it comes out like if it was made right that day. You would never know that that tray of rolls has been sitting in your freezer. Never. And that was the point. I cannot tell you how much testing went into this, but it was worth it because you're going to love this. This is going to be one of those recipes you come back to year after year, and I'm excited to share it with you. Let's do it. Okay, so one of the things that I would very much encourage you to do is to get your mise en place all done before you start anything that we ever do. Mise en place means things in place. So what that means is everything's measured, everything's ready. I like to use these little sheet pans. This is called a quarter sheet in case you care. And everything is ready so that we can just go. And if you do that, especially on big baking times or big cooking times, I do the same thing for Thanksgiving. All the trays are all lined up. Everything is done. Everything is measured so I can just go. I don't need stress. I need great food and I want to enjoy it. So mise en place gets us there. So I'm going to give you the recipe. The recipe will be printed. The recipe will be linked below to a printable so that you don't have to do any of that. But what I did was I have it as one dough that we make some minor changes to, and then 2 fillings, and then 2 glazes. So you're not serving the same thing twice, but you get kind of started with the same thing, so it's less work. So we've got milk, yeast, sugar, eggs, butter, sea salt, and flour. That's all we need. We're ready to go. I'll meet you over at the mixer. And here we go. We start off with our warm milk. Now I always make my milk a little warmer than I need it because the bowl, it's a stainless steel bowl and it's always cold. So we add our milk, our sugar. It's humid here today and my sugar is sticking together, which I don't like. This is our orange zest. We're doing our cardamom rolls first. So I just give that a quick stir to make sure that the orange zest isn't clumped. Make sure we're not too hot. We are perfect. Right in goes our yeast. I always beat my eggs before I drop them in. I must have said it 100 times. I absolutely hate chasing a whole egg around the bowl. I know it's probably only 15 seconds, but for whatever reason, that 15 seconds bugs the living poo out of me. That was our homemade extract, vanilla orange. And now we slowly add our flour. But I'm going to lift my bowl because I don't want to get any flour where it doesn't belong. So I'm going to add about half my flour, give it a mix, and then we'll add the other half. While that's mixing in, we're adding our salt. Now, it's very important that your butter is already softened. And I don't mean softened in the microwave so that it's liquidy. It's important that it be tender, that you can pick it up and drop it in the way I'm dropping it in here. I think the camera's picking that up. I'm just dropping it in. We're going to bring the mixer up just a bit, and we're going to work in that butter, and we won't add any more until that butter is gone. Now, these are our cardamom rolls, so I'm adding cardamom to the dough. Cardamom has the most beautiful flavor, and it is a flavor that you would most recognize from Norwegian, Swedish, that area in their baking. That is what they use in place of cinnamon, and it's my favorite, to be perfectly honest. Now we'll turn that off. We're going to add the rest of our flour. And then we are going to slowly add the rest of our butter, little bit by bit. Now we're going to let this go after it comes together for about 6 minutes. I'll show you exactly what we're looking for, because what it looks like is more important than the time. And our dough is beautiful and it smells so good. Here's the thing that you can do. This particular dough that I did has the cardamom and the orange in it. That's because I'm making 2 batches of the orange cardamom. It's the same exact dough for my cinnamon rolls, minus the cardamom and the orange. So that's all you have to do, is leave off those 2 ingredients, and you will have beautiful dough for both. Minor changes, the measurements are all the same, but look at this dough. Look at her, she's beautiful. We drop her right in here and we let it rise. We're gonna just drape it with a little something cozy, and we're gonna let it rise until she's double. Right now, based on the temperature in my house, I'd say that's gonna be about 90 minutes. We'll see you then. So now we're gonna make our filling, which is called a shmear. We need very, very soft butter and cream cheese, and it's important that they be the same softness, the same temperature, because if not, when you go to whip them together, whichever one is cooler will cause the other to create lumps. And once those lumps are there, it's really hard to get them out. And it just ruins the texture. You'll end up with these little bites that are just, they're not perfect. And we want perfect. We whip that until they're very, very well mixed together. We scrape down the bowl. You're going to have to do that a few times. You want to make sure everything is even. We're adding our sugar, which is brown sugar and granulated sugar. The reason we use 2 different sugars is because the flavor that the brown sugar gives is beautiful. But if we use too much of it, it becomes overpowering. So by splitting it between the 2, it's perfect. We add our extract, homemade of course. Once again, scrape down that bowl. I know it gets tiresome, but it's important. We're adding our cinnamon now. If you have cinnamon that's on the older side, this is a great time to go ahead and replace it. It's important. You'll notice a difference. We're scraping down again, and we have to add a pinch of salt. If you don't add that little pinch of salt, you'll notice it missing. And so our schmears are done. We pack them in these. I like to use these containers because I can just seal them. I even put them in the dishwasher. They're great. But the only difference between our 2 schmears is one is cardamom and one is cinnamon. So it's an easy thing to do. You get them done in advance. Just don't chill them until you've had a chance to use them, because you want them to be super smooth and creamy. Side note, they make great cinnamon toast when you have a little bit extra. Right under the broiler, a little brulee on there, so good. We've got a rolling pin, and here's the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Ordinarily, when we are filling our freezer with all the goodies for lardering for our house guests, or just filling the freezer for our family, we would be using those beautiful glass pans that I love so much, the 9x13. Usually they're made by Pyrex. They have a snap-on lid. I love them. I have a whole pile of them. I'm not using them right now because when I went to go look at the price, I was horrified. There is absolutely no way I was going to link something that expensive and ask you to put it in your freezer for who knows how long in good faith. I simply couldn't do it. I didn't pay anywhere near that price. And for that reason, I'm not linking those until they come down and a little reality has come back in, because absolutely not. Plus, by doing it this way, these came from Walmart. They come with lids, which I think is great. We're going to fill these. They're going to proof. They're going to be great. We put them in the oven. Now, the ones that we are going to freeze right away, we're going to shape, we're going to cover, label, and freeze. We're not going to let them proof. They'll proof as they defrost when they're ready to go into the oven. The other batch, the second batch, we are going to go ahead and proof all the way, and we're going to bake them off so that you can see what they look like. And if I didn't bake a batch, I think I would be run out on a rail from my family. So, plus, one of the beautiful things about these is that if you decide to use this recipe and give them as gifts, you don't have to go circling back and get your pans from everybody. You label them, you write something beautiful, you love them, you give them away with joy, and you don't have to think about it again. Your beloved glass baking dishes are still in your home where you left them. Okay, we've got our rolling pin. This is my favorite rolling pin in the entire world. I will tell you that yes, it is expensive. I don't even know that I can link it. I'll try. This is an investment piece. I've had it for easily 10 years, and I will probably have it the rest of my life, and then one of my children will have it, or they'll fight over it. It is that good. This is the kind of pin you don't replace. So if you're a hardcore baker, I'll leave you the information for it, but otherwise, a rolling pin is fine. Okay, so we've got our bench flour to make sure we don't stick to the board. We've got our dough knife so that we can cut it in half, which is what we're going to do here, and we're ready to go. That's it. Okay, so now we're just about perfect. You see, it's not exactly perfect. If you were going to be frantic about it, you would trim. I'm not wasting. I'm not going to do that. I feel a little high spot right there. Go away. Every time we get a warm spell. Feel a little high spot right there. Okay, so we're going to leave an inch with no filling at all. We'll start with our cinnamon. Let's go ahead and cover that. So we're going to take an offset spatula and just spread. Now, an offset spatula looks like this. And it just makes it easier to spread things because it keeps your knuckles out of the way. Now, you're going to have lots of shmear. No, you do not use this entire thing. This is enough for a double batch because I have to make lots more. But if you're not going to use it all, it freezes. So you can be ready whenever you need to. Don't forget to make sure that you leave an inch at the top. Everywhere else, go ahead and bring it all the way to the end. A little bit more, because that we're going to pinch closed. We make sure everybody's got the perfect amount, the same. Any place that's light, fix it. You have plenty. Okay, we want to make sure that these are full and luscious. Okay, just a little bit more right here. Scrape the edge, drop a little bit right there because I could see a little bit that was missing, just a little. Okay, then we come all the way down. Make sure we're even. And then we roll. So now we're going to pick up with our thumbs just the very bottom and gently roll it over. Now what you're going to want to do is pick it up towards yourself and roll. So you're going to come towards yourself and then roll forward. If you just roll this way before you really get it started, it will slide the filling off the front, which we definitely don't want to do. We want our spiral to be perfect. So we pull, lift, lift, and you want to make sure it's nice and tight, but it's not so tight that as it has to have its final proof that there's no room. So you want to balance that. So you've got a beautiful spiral, lift, and when you get about halfway, then you can just roll. Just about there. And now, because we've got our center all set, we can roll. Now, what we're going to do is bring it towards ourselves. Make sure we're pretty tight. Roll again. So that seam is on the bottom. Okay, we're going to make sure we feel even. We're going to cut off the ends so that we don't have any pieces that are bizarrely thin or anything like that. But first, we're going to make sure that we have sealed our seam. So I pinch. I just go right across with my index finger and my thumb, and I just pinch. And the dough is so beautiful, it stays closed. Okay, so then we're going to remove that side, and we've got, so that weird uneven side that we had is gone. Okay, now we want 12 rolls. Okay, so we don't want to stretch this all the way out. Now, if you pulled this all the way out, you could get more, but they'd be really small. So if you want the standard yummy size, you bring this in just like that, and then we get our dental floss. Now we want to mark off our middle. So that's about the middle, so we mark. Then we mark from here to the end, we're going to mark the middle again. A fly. Mark the middle again, do the same on this side. And then divide each spot that you just marked. See, 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to mark each one of these in 3. So there we go. So we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and the last is 3. And that should be just about exact. Real close. So then we take our dental floss. Unfortunately, yes, this is the minted kind. It is what it is. Now you go right to the center where our first line was. You've got each side. Roll them around your fingers. Come back here. Roll it around your finger. And then you're just going to cross. And it cuts just like that. And it doesn't smush. And that's what's super important, is we want to keep that beautiful shape. So we wrap it around our fingers like this, and everywhere we have it marked, we just come right across at that line. Slides right across. See that? Then we're going to take our buttered dish and we're going to set these in. And they need a good amount of room because these are going to rise quite a bit. They're going to get plump and beautiful. Right down here. Again, we make sure that we're pinched closed. And we do the same. There we go. Now we're going to press down just a little bit to get everybody seated in the butter. And this will sit at room temperature until they have doubled in size. So now our cardamom ones are done. They're shaped. We are not going to let these rise. Your rolls need a second rise. And you'll know they're ready to go in the oven because they'll be beautifully poofed up. They'll be just about touching. We don't want them all over each other because they still need room to rise in the oven. These get to be a pretty good size. So we're going to label these and we're going to put them right into the freezer. And when you're ready to serve them to your guests, you take them out maybe the night before when before you go to bed, or early in the morning. You take them out and you let them come to room temperature, and you'll know they're ready to go in the oven when they're all puffed up and they're perfect. They tell you when they're ready to go, and you go right from there. These I'm going to keep out and I'm going to let them proof all the way, and then we're going to get these baked off and I'll show you what they look like. So I'll get this labeled and I'll show you what these look like when they come out of the oven.
We start with our softened cream cheese. And we definitely want it so that we can whip it a bit. If you have it even a little bit chilled, it will have lumps in it and you'll never get them out. And we've got our butter. Again, very, very softened. And then we're not going to add our sugar until we've gotten this completely whipped up. Make sure there's no butter left. I'm using homemade extract. In this case, it is vanilla orange. The flavor profile is wonderful with cream cheese. Okay, now we've got our powdered sugar. And as always, even though it's a sweet, a pinch of fine sea salt. Now the last thing we're going to add is just a little splash of heavy cream. We do the sugar first. You can use milk if you don't have heavy cream, but the heavy cream adds a little bit of a nicer texture. And we want to be able to make sure we can drizzle it just like that. That's perfect. Do not refrigerate it. We're waiting for the rolls to come out. Look how gorgeous. Look at that. And that's before the glaze. Look at that. How can your family not know for sure you adore them?